evening. Yay, Andrea started the recording, so that's awesome. She may have to duck out at some point, so don't be alarmed if she leaves. It's not because she is bored with me talking. She had a very long day, so I want to welcome you here today to this presentation. Thank you for taking your evening to be here. I want to point out in the chat that we do have a link to a survey, so please make sure after the presentation that you hop over there and just fill out the survey for us so we know how you like the presentation, what types of things that you took from it, and also please let us know if there are topics that you want us to cover in these professional development trainings. I'm the chair of the professional development committee for our faculty, full-time faculty and adjuncts. So please let me know if there are things that you want to see us do trainings on. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I want to welcome you all to Lights, Camera, Shine. Tips and tricks for creating polished professional videos for your online classes. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Karen Bryson. I'm a full-time faculty member here at Ottawa University. I was very fortunate that I was able to take a training that was about gaining confidence for yourself to be online. And you may not realize that I had a tremendous amount of anxiety around being on camera. And I didn't think that I was ever going to be able to make a video that I would be happy with to be able to have in a class. And after taking this training, I was able to create a video, feel comfortable creating it, and feel comfortable sharing it in my online class. So I wanted to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I learned, and also some of the reasons why we should be engaging students with video in our online classes. So if you're like me and you're nervous about it, I know exactly how you feel, and hopefully this will help you to overcome some of that anxiety about using video in your online classes. So the overview of today's training, as I said, we're going to talk about why it's important to use videos, the ways in which we can use videos in our online classes, the best practices for using videos, and some tips and tricks to create more professional looking videos for your classes. I want to give credit to these wonderful resources. The first is the 99 tips for creating simple and sustainable educational videos. This is a book that was written by Karen Costa. I really like it. And if you want some additional information about this topic, you want more in-depth information, I highly recommend this book. A lot of the information that I am using in this training came from her work. Also, if you're looking for a place to get great videos, stock images, and things that you can share that are royalty-free, there's two sources that I recommend. One is called Pixels and the other is Pixabay, and they're both websites. They're both, as I said, royalty-free. They're search engines. You can search for any type of video or stock photos that you can use to make your classes more lively for your students. So all the videos, most of the videos and things that I'm using in my training come from these two websites, Pixels and Pixabay. So we know that the percentage of students who have enrolled in online education has increased since the start of the pandemic. I think most of us are aware of that. I looked up some statistics for you, and according to the Department of Education, in 2020, 2/3 of students at colleges and universities were educated virtually. Only 27% were not enrolled in any remote education courses. Even more startling than that, though, is that at the undergraduate level, the number of students enrolled exclusively in online classes grew 367% in 2020. That's startling, 367%. So we know that students are enrolling more in online education, more students are, the percentage of students, the number of classes they're taking online is increasing, and online education is here to stay. Also in that survey, we found out that 2,200 colleges and universities surveyed said that they plan to sustain their distance education offerings post-pandemic. So we know now that the genie is out of the bottle. Online education is here to stay. So what strategies can we use to create the best experiences possible for our online learners? Move you all to the bottom here. Okay, so here are some reasons why we should be making use of video. When we use videos, it provides a greater connection to our students. We can increase student engagement when we use videos. It's also a way to empower us as instructors. When we're online, sometimes it can be isolating. We're not sure if students are really getting the message when they're in their own homes reading the things that we put online. The majority of stuff that we have on there, is text-based. So this can really empower us as instructors. I know you're all thinking, save time, really? Is that true? If you think about it in the long run, if you're like me, where there are terms where you may be teaching the same course, or you may be using the same information in the same courses that you're teaching over time, or you're giving tips and tricks, for example, talking about APA, citations, references, why you shouldn't plagiarize, these types of things that that are more general, that you're going to be using in courses, pretty much all the courses that you teach probably. Once you make one video, you can repurpose that content over and over again. So yes, there will be times when you're making specific videos for specific classes, or maybe even for specific students, but there are more general things that if you're repeating information, you find yourself saying the same things over and over again when you're grading papers or in announcements. These things can be put in a video, and then you can upload the video and repurpose that content over the course of a term or over terms. So yeah, if you're thinking strategically in the long run, it can save time. We can be more effective as educators. We can make a bigger connection with our students, and we can enrich the learning process by being more human online. Students will get to know us better. We're more than just, some of us don't even have a photo online, which is unfortunate. So, we can be more than an avatar. We can actually be live, breathing human being to our students when they see us in a video. And also, I love this point that we can be re-energized as educators. I know for me, I've been teaching at Ottawa now for almost 17 years. I like to have things that will challenge me as a teacher, and I like to learn new things. So for me, videos were that thing. Like, I was very hesitant to make use of video because of social anxiety and overcoming that fear of people seeing me in this form. So learning about how to use videos and learning about the ways in which they can be used in an online course really re-energized me and reinvigorated me as an educator. So those are some ways in which we can maybe motivate ourselves to consider using videos. Okay. There we go. Okay, so why use video? Here's a bit of research from the book that I was telling you about by Costa. She says, research by Gilbach et al. In 2016 found that when students and instructors learn about the things they have in common, students tend to perform better. When we create videos for our students, this can be used as a tool to develop these kinds of relationships. So there are a lot of ways that we can use videos in our online classes. Here are a few of the ways. There are times maybe when things are confusing to students, so we can use a video to explain things that are confusing, or maybe to clarify key concepts. We can demonstrate points if that's appropriate for the type of thing that you're teaching. This may be great for people who are teaching math concepts or accounting or things that require that level of detail that maybe students aren't getting just from reading the text in a class. We can help to improve students' understanding of concepts. It creates a strong instructor presence in the class, maybe even more so than us, participating only in a text-based way. And really just creating that bond with students, them getting to know us better as an individual, as a human being, and things that we have in common with them as people. So videos are also fun. They can be fun for instructors to create and fun for our students. When we share stories with students, it creates a connection, and laughter can create a bond with our students. So if you'll bear with me, I hope this will give you a little bit of a laugh. I know I found it cute. And no, it is not me in the bear suit, but I think it's cute. But you can include stuff like this. And again, this is something that I downloaded from that website that I was telling you about, Pixels. And you can put it, find a way to use it in your class. And, it's cute and can be motivating and encouraging for your students. So why haven't you made a video yet? If you're like me, that was me before I took the Shine Online training. Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 never. So here are all the ways that you, or all the reasons why you may not be creating videos. You're afraid, you're intimidated, you don't have courage. You feel like no one wants to see my face. Like I thought, why would anyone want to see my face online? You feel like you're too busy, it's too difficult, too much work, or maybe just the technology is not there. You don't understand how to do it. You can't figure out how to do it. I get stuck in how-to holes all the time. I don't know about you, but if I don't know a specific process by which to do something, I will get confused and overwhelmed. And also perfection paralysis gets me a lot. Like I want things to be very well done. And sometimes my videos are not great, and that's okay. We want to strive for excellence, of course, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So here are some things that you can do to humanize yourself in your online course. You can invite your dog, cat, or other pet to share the screen with you. And here I've invited my bloodhound, Madison, to share this screen with me. You can tell students stories about times you've struggled online, or times you struggled as a student, or things that may be difficult for you and how you overcame those difficulties. You can be motivating and encouraging to your students in that way. Tell students about a unique hobby or unique interest or ability that you have. I always share with my students that I am a Wizard of Oz fanatic, and I collect Wizard of Oz memorabilia, and that connects me with a lot of students. There are a lot of students who also love the Wizard of Oz and collect Wizard of Oz memorabilia. So that creates a connection and a bond with students, and they feel more comfortable with me. Can anyone think of any other ideas of ways that you can humanize yourself online, or maybe things that you've done?
Hi, Karen, this is Frank.
Hi, Frank.
When I was doing the videos for online, if it was like the class fell, like when the Super Bowl was, I'd wear the t-shirt of the team I wanted to win just to elicit a reaction from the students. And typically I'd get one. So just trying to make it topical, trying to make it fun.
Yeah, that's a great way to connect with students. Sports are in the United States, sports are a wonderful way to connect with people. So thanks for sharing that. Are there any others that anyone wants to share? Okay.
Karen.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know that Mary posted in the chat that you can share the history of holidays, which I think is a cute idea.
Oh, I love that idea. Thanks, Mary. I can't see the chat right now.
I haven't done it with video, but you know, I always include that if a holiday falls on whatever particular day, because we are a university, I always go to history.com or some, you know, a little bit better resource to let them know what the history of the holiday is and why we celebrate it, especially since I often teach international students. And they probably have no idea why we're celebrating particular things like Halloween or things like that.
That's great. I love that idea. Thanks so much, Mary.
So you could dress in a costume.
I'm sorry I can't see the chat right now in the view that I have. So please unmute yourself and talk at this moment. And then when I remove the PowerPoint, I will be able to see the chat again. So other ways that you can make use of your video content. So you can clarify something within the class that maybe isn't that easy to understand. For most of us, we're not the designer of the course. Frank, you have a question? Sorry, you're muted.
I was waving at Brian Sandusky, who was walking.
Okay. So for many of us, we're not the person who designed the course. So there may be things that aren't clear to us as well as we look through the course. So if there's a place where you think students might get stuck, or a place if you've taught the course multiple times and you know, oh, this is an issue that sometimes is confusing to students, then you may just create a video and then you can have it there as a resource for students. Ways to navigate the course is another more general thing that you may be able to use in all of your classes. Suggestions for online support services. The next video I create that I'm going to use for January when I'm teaching is I'm going to talk about our net tutor and why it's important for our students to make use of that. And I'm going to be using that in all my courses. Some strategies, tips, tricks that you have for success in your course, especially if you've taught the course multiple times and you know there are things that you can make use of that will help the students. I have my top 10 list of things that students can use for APA. But I may right now it's a list, but I may turn it into a video at some point. Tell a story related to the course content, provide a scenario or a case study, and you can ask probing questions. You can make mini lectures. Are there any other things that people can think of that they may use to present course content or tips and tricks about navigating the course?
Karen, I think one of the powerful things about your videos is making videos is it gives the student, it gives you a chance to tell the students who you are, what your backgrounds are, what your experiences are, and that creates that bond. Because if you just work in an online environment without something like this, it's very disconnected and a very sterile environment. So I would do, based on Andrea's recommendations, do a video every week, start of every week. And that became something the students, I believe, started to say, hey, I like that. You know, they would miss it if I did, for one reason I missed it. And then it morphed from me providing them with videos to actually meeting them via Collaborate, you know, once or twice during the 8-week session. So I think the bonding that it creates is important. And these videos can really help with that.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that, Frank.
I have a suggestion. So the unique thing about online, right, is we are online and many of you guys are professionals working in the field. So it would be so much easier to create a video online of you interviewing another professional in the field related to the content or something that is current in the course, rather than inviting somebody in the classroom. So much easier to just Zoom somebody, do a content related interview and post that in the class with their permission, which would bring a unique perspective to the student and I think be kind of exciting.
I love that idea. Thank you so much for sharing that, Andrea. It's great. Okay, and you can get creative. Here are some other ideas. Play a game, do a scavenger hunt, host a virtual field trip, do a virtual tour. There are lots of ways that you can incorporate your creativity. And I love Andrea's idea of interviewing a professional and having the interview in the class. It's a great idea. Does anyone else have any creative ideas? If you think of any, post them in the chat. So I know you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is all well and good, but I'm still anxious and nervous and not sure I want to do this. So I want to give you some more motivation, because your students are anxious and nervous too. A lot of our students are very nervous about being in online class, being in the online environment, having us as instructors when they first get into our class, because they don't know what to expect. So being able to see you on a video greatly reduces their anxiety. We can help students feel more cared for and validated. We can motivate them and encourage them. We know that online learning can be isolating, and this is a great way to make students feel less alone. Where it can help students overcome their fear of anxiety, especially when you're in a situation like I was, where I was very anxious and nervous about being on camera. So you can help students overcome their fear of anxiety by just being able to relate to you as a human being. You can make students feel immediately more comfortable in your class if they see you on a video. As we were discussing, it helps to cultivate commonalities and increase that student-teacher bond, and you can become partners in the online classroom experience. Just to give you some information about the brain-based teaching, we know that in a text-based class, students tend to get overwhelmed with a lot of reading material, and sometimes even can get bored when a class is strictly text-based. So when we give them a multisensory experience like a video, it can gain their attention because it's a novel experience. We also know that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So by using video, we can express things that maybe would take us a lot longer to be able to express if we try to explain something in text-based format. And people will remember things and recall information better when we present it in a visual format, especially in a video format. And you do not have to be Steven Spielberg. No one is expecting you to make, this great feature-length video. You can make short, simple videos. Less is more. Students want to know who you are. They want to learn about you, about what makes you tick, and about your take on what you're learning. Your take on what they're learning. What do you have as a professional? What are you bringing to the table that makes this a special class that's special for you to teach? Be professional, but also be real and be honest. I think students appreciate that. So just to give you an idea of some types of videos you can create, this right here, what we see in the video is what is called a headshot video. So this is you basically talking to the students. There's also what's called a screencast video. And what that is that you would show PowerPoint or some other kind of presentation, and you're recording that presentation as you're doing it. So you could give it to a live audience and record it, or you could be giving a mock presentation in your own home and recording it, and then you'll have that presentation, most like a PowerPoint presentation, recorded, and then you can have it available in your class. What we're doing now is what they call a combination. So that would be you talking as a PowerPoint is going, but also having a small headshot video in the corner of the screen. So here are some places that you can incorporate videos into your class. You can use them in your announcements, which is probably one of the best places where you can put them. As Frank was saying, he was using a video every week in his announcements, which I think is a great idea. If you have things that you want to talk to students about privately, you may be able to email them a link to a video, or if it's short enough, the video itself. You can use them in the discussion board. Grading feedback. I know quite a few instructors who are now using videos for grading feedback. You can create a few videos of common errors that students make and then upload those links to those videos for students so they have that information, and then you're not typing the same thing over and over again for feedback. Review sessions are another great way, you know, before an exam or before a big project's due, just to give students a little bit of encouragement about that big assignment that's coming up, or if they need extra help in some way. I know there's some classes that lend themselves to having videos that provide extra help or extra guidance. Are there other ideas that you have for where videos can be incorporated into an online class?
I love your idea about in discussions, but also take it a step further. What about introductions? One of the things I've done in all my classes is, you know, when all the students introduce themselves, and I create a kind of a summary that shows all the things we have in common, so then they can see who else in the class is on the soccer team, or who else in Phoenix versus, you know, Ottawa or wherever. But I love this idea of doing a video, so you could actually invite people to come to a session and record as many as you could, and then present that as, you can put that in introductions, and they can meet 10 or 15 students at one time, possibly.
That's a fantastic idea. I love that. Thanks, Mary. It's great. Yeah, in the introductions is a great idea. Actually, a class I'm teaching right now, which is global issues, has a voice thread in place of the standard introductions, and it's all video based. So every student, the instructor and all the students, record little videos for the introductions rather than having the text-based introductions. So it's interesting. It's the first time I'm using that format, and the students seem to really like it. Okay, so a little bit of tips right here. The number one thing, as Frank mentioned, is to start with relationship videos. So you want to, when you're first posting a video, post something that students get to know you a little bit better. And this is just, if you're still kind of nervous about appearing on a video like this, where you're talking, this is an easy way to make a video that is kind of cute. I just took a picture. This is me and my mom, and we are in Iceland, and we are standing with one foot in North America and one foot in Europe. And I made it into a video by adding snow to it. And it's cute, it's easy, and it's very low pressure. So if you're still a little bit nervous about incorporating video, you can do something like this, and it's a little more novel and stimulating, but less stressful than maybe taking that step to create a more formal video. So once you start with relationship video, then over the next course of the next weeks, then you can move into the more content heavy videos. And make sure that when you're including videos in your class, that you explain to the students why you're including this video, why you're including it here, and what's its purpose. So you want to say something like, this video will help you too, and explain to them the purpose of the video and what you hope for them to gain out of watching the video. And please keep it short, 5 to 10 minutes. We know that people in general in our society have increasingly shorter attention spans, and particularly now that younger people, younger generations are on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all of these places where very short videos are popular, the shorter the better. So bite-sized bits of information, even if you have to make a few videos with one piece of information in each video. It's better than making a really long video that people will get bored and not watch. So try to do one piece of information per video and keep it short. 5 to 10 minutes max for a content heavy video. If it's just a fun video where relationship-based video, even shorter, maybe 1 to 3 minutes max. So overcoming anxiety. If you're like me and you have anxiety about being on camera, first breathe. This is an example of some of the diaphragm breathing. So take in deep breaths, relax. Be sure to practice what you're going to say. That helps a lot if you feel comfortable. I practiced this presentation. I'm not even going to admit how many times I practiced it, but now I feel comfortable presenting this information to you because I practice. So be sure you practice so you feel comfortable with what you're talking about or presenting. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. For me, who has spent a lifetime being a perfectionist, this was a really hard thing for me to grasp, but it's so true. It doesn't have to be perfect. People will appreciate even a less than perfect video. Having a less than perfect video is better than not having any video at all. And it's okay to make mistakes and be human and have bloopers. Bloopers can be fun and students can get a good laugh and it makes you human. So now I'm going to go into some more tips and I will open the chat. Okay, so some more tips for you. Let me get into my speaker view. Okay, so some tips for you. I'm going to start with lighting. So if you're doing a video that is a headshot video, the first thing, probably the most important thing, is that you have really good lighting. So make sure that you are front lit. What that means is that you're going to have a lamp or some kind of light source in front of your computer. You don't want to be backlit because that will make you look like a ghost. And it's creepy. So make sure that you have a front lighting source. If you don't have a lamp, what I have right now is a lamp. You can use this. This is a zoom light that you can get on Amazon or wherever you buy things like this. It's called a zoom light, and you attach it to your computer, and it works as a light source for you. If you don't have a lamp in a place that works well, just get a zoom light. You can also use a window. As you can see, I have a back window. That won't work. It would need to be a window that's in the front, and of course it would have to be daytime. So if you're going to use natural lighting, that works really well, but the window has to be in front of you as well. So lighting is really important. You want to make sure that there aren't any shadows, so don't wear a hat, and make sure that you have good lighting source. Your background, we talked about this. As you can see, Mary Haynes has a blurred background, which is very nice. It's a nice thing to do if you feel like you don't if you have things that are distracting and you don't want people to see in your background. That blurred background can look very nice. The main things about your background are, make sure you don't have dirty laundry or like socks hanging from somewhere. So the tips and tricks that I'm giving you are because I do the phase 1 training for our new adjuncts. And the requirements now, for those of you who may not have taken phase 1 or taken phase 1 lately, the requirement now is that we have people create videos. And you would be shocked at some of the things that I see in people's videos. So I want to make sure that you're creating professional looking videos. Yes, people have had dirty laundry or half folded laundry in the background. You don't want people fixated on your laundry. You want it to look very clean and professional. It can have, little things about your personality, but nothing distracting. And also, if you have plants, make sure there's no plant growing out of your head, because that can be distracting too. So yeah, nothing weird in the background, nothing that can be distracting. Okay, your personal appearance. I know this might seem odd, but make sure your hair is combed. I have had adjunct instructors who do videos where they have what looks like bedhead, and that can be very distracting. So make sure you have a clean appearance. You're not wearing any clothing that is distracting either. And this is a pro tip for people who wear glasses, which I do, and I normally would have my glasses on. You can see glasses create a huge glare, but there's a very easy way to get rid of this, and that is to tilt your glasses and the glare disappears. So if you have to wear glasses, you can just tilt them and you won't have any glare. Let's see, camera. Okay, this is really important. I have seen adjunct instructors make videos where they're syncing like this in the video, or they're so far up that only their chin is visible. So you want to make sure that you are perfectly centered in your video, the way that you would if you were doing a headshot of someone like with a regular camera. You want to make sure that there's an even amount of space between where you are and the sides, and there's a good amount of space between you and the top and the bottom. If you're like me and you're short, you can elevate your laptop with books underneath the laptop. So I have like 3 books underneath my laptop so that my eyes are eye level to the camera. I also have 2 other tricks for people who are short. You can sit on a pillow, which I'm doing right now, and you can also have a pillow behind you, which moves you closer to the camera, and it gives the illusion that you're more substantial than you are. So interestingly, you know, since the pandemic, I've been communicating with people that I've never met in real life. And then when they meet me, they say, wow, I didn't realize you were so short. You seem so much larger online. It's because of the way that I present myself in the frame, that I give the appearance that I'm more substantial than I am. So you can have a more confident and substantial appearance just by using those few tricks. Audio, of course, you want to make sure that you can be heard. There's no distractions in the background, no kids screaming, no dogs barking. If you're recording a video and something happens, you're just gonna have to stop the video and record it again. If there's somebody mowing a lawn next door, unfortunately, that's not gonna work. You're gonna have to stop and record it again. A lot of people use earbuds. I don't have the radio ear canal for earbuds, so I can't use them, but they can be very helpful to the audio quality of your videos. So yeah, you want to make sure that you remain centered. You're looking into the camera. If you need help remembering to look at the camera when you're creating your video, I took a little sticky note and I drew a face on it and I put it directly above the camera. So I know I talked to my little friend in the sticky note and it reminds me to look at the camera. So that's a trick. I know most of you are getting up there in age like I am, and sometimes we require notes to remember what we're going to say. What I do, instead of reading off index cards, which I've seen people do, or having things to the side where you're constantly looking like this, a pro tip is to, if it's possible, tape your notes immediately behind. So there's a wall right behind my laptop, and I have my notes taped as close as I can to the camera. So I just have to look up really quick, grab my note, grab what I'm going to say, and then I can look at the camera again. So that's another tip. If you need notes like I do, because my memory is not as good as it once was, you can have your notes behind you right directly by the camera. You don't want to read from a script. You want to try to be as natural as possible, be confident, and that comes with practice and just continually making videos, you'll gain more confidence. The more you do it, the more confident you'll become. The other tip that I have is high energy. You would be surprised how much energy is drained from you from making a video. I don't know how many of you are fans of the movie Spinal Tap, but there's a saying in there, it goes to 11. You want to go to 11. And what that means is you don't want to be too overly dramatic, but you want to raise your energy just enough that it comes across that you're enthusiastic and very confident and that you're enjoying what you're doing. And that will come through in the video. If you just turn your personality and what you're saying and your presentation up just a little bit. Okay, that's all my tips and tricks. I will now open it up to questions. What questions do you have? And I will put on my glasses because I can't read the chat without my glasses. Okay, what questions?
Andrea, maybe you want to have a little contest amongst the faculty and adjuncts to create a video, and then they'll submit it to you, and it'll be the Academy Awards of Ottawa University.
I love that idea,
Frank. That's fantastic, Frank. Yay. You get extra points for the Academy Awards. Yay, I love that.
And then Karen, I have a question for you. You said you're a
Yes.
Wizard of Oz fan?
Say that again?
Did you say you're a Wizard of Oz fan?
I'm a Wizard of Oz fanatic.
Okay.
Fanatic.
Do you know why it didn't win the Academy Award?
No, tell me.
It went against Gone with the Wind.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, that explains it. Yes. Yeah.
Little
Gone with
trivia.
the Wind is a classic. So software for videos, I'm using Zoom. I'm using Zoom to create my videos. You can, use what you have. Does anyone have any other ideas for software?
I use Zoom, and I was just going to say I'm the director of enrollment too. I use Zoom I'm making videos for everything now because I am just literally getting tired of saying the same thing over and over again. So I will just pull up a Zoom, and what I love about it is I can share my screen, especially when I'm training new enrollment advisors or whatever. And I basically do like a little, and it's really important to keep it short, right? So I do little tips and tricks, and then I just send it to all of the enrollment advisors, and that way it can just be shared. But using Zoom and then doing any kind of Prezi or PowerPoint or whatever, just going through it, to me, that's just the easiest thing to do. And I can even share my screen, and I'm going to be so small that I don't have to worry too much about how I look. So if you're really nervous about it and you want to share your screen the whole time, you're going to be real tiny. So then it kind of helps a little bit. But I do videos constantly. And the thing I can say that I hear from students the most, because I'm a director of enrollment, so I hear about what they don't like about their instructors quite often, and they feel like there's no connection. And I don't hear that from students whose teachers do use videos. They feel a lot better about that. And Dr. Bryson mentioned everyone's going to online nowadays. Like Ottawa is not unique anymore in having online. Everybody has online. So we've got to make sure that, we keep ourselves relevant and unique, because I feel the strain in enrollment. So, but one of the big things that we sell is our faculty, and you guys are all awesome. So anytime you can use videos, it just helps the students feel more.
Well, and if you
connected.
thank you so much, Kate. That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And if you think about our society, and many of you probably do this too, when you want to learn something, if you don't know how to do something and you want to learn how to do it, what do? You look on YouTube and look for a video. It's so common now for us to learn using video that it would probably be, for a young person especially, almost expected that when they go into an online class that there's going to be some kind of videos in there, because we are just so programmed now to make use of videos for learning. Anyone use Collaborate? Does anyone use Collaborate?
I've used Collaborate for study sessions with my students.
Okay. And how was that for you?
I was just going to say, I like PowerPoint, has great video. capability because you can edit. Remember when you were talking about if you mess up or the doorbell rings, you can hit pause. And you can go and then continue. It will. You can go in and edit frame by frame if you're using a PowerPoint like alongside of it. So I mean, it's pretty easy. My
Yeah,
students use it a lot because I require some of my students to do a narrated video presentation as one of their assignments. And so I've seen them get really creative with things like that. But also Loom is another one, LOOM. It's like Zoom, but they've had good luck with that one as well.
Yeah, there's Loom, Sway. Yeah,
I used VoiceThread before.
VoiceThread, yes. And we do have VoiceThread in our class, some of our classes at Ottawa. I also know people have used StreamYard. I was invited to do StreamYard to do a presentation the other night, and I was interviewed as an author, which is what I do in my free time. But the interview was through StreamYard, and it was interesting because it was a live interview, and then she recorded it, so it was live and recorded, and now it's being distributed, the recorded version of it, and that was through StreamYard. And there's some other ones, Sway, ScreenFlick, these are all great. Tell me what other questions you have, or does anyone have any other comments or suggestions for the group? Oh, awesome. Thanks, Kate. Kate presented us with an example video. That's awesome. Thank you.
It's just my global issues intro. I still use it. I really need to update it. It's
That's
it's
great.
like 3 years old at this point. But
That's great. Now Global Issues has VoiceThread in there.
I
Yeah.
haven't taught it since it's revamped.
Yeah, it's got VoiceThread in there. So yeah, you won't have to do an introduction video. You won't have to post an introduction video. It's already in the introduction. Make it through VoiceThread, and all the students will have it in there. So yeah.
I like the way she has the Ottawa University and the logo in the background. Kate, on the one she just sent.
Yeah, that was at the Wisconsin campus. So,
That's great. Thanks, Kate.
welcome.
We could you could capture that. Is there a screenshot somewhere that we could capture that and put it as a virtual background when we're doing ours?
You can make anything a virtual background.
Yeah, so we could make it a little more professional instead of having our kitchen or laundry in the background. We could have Ottawa University there for life of significance.
Yes. Okay, please be sure that you fill out the survey.
Do you need, I can post it, Karen, if you need me to.
I'll grab it again since I posted it once. Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate that. Here's a link to the survey again. Please fill it out. Let us know how you enjoyed the presentation today. And I hope you will all go forth and create videos for your classes.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. If you don't have any more questions, I will let you go for the evening.
All right. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks,
Really
Karen.
appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you.
You've inspired us.
Oh, great.
Yes.